It is week 6 of the RBHL, and we go into the C division where two teams are fighting to climb up the standings. It is the Storm Surge against the Riptide. Welcome to the RBHL. Daniel Wilson here. Riptide, after having in their first RBHL championship, things didn't go well for them last season. Got eliminated in the semi, and this was the very team that eliminated them, and now they're looking to get back at them. The Storm Surge only one win this season, but this was the very team that they got a win for this season. But things have been struggling offensively for both sides, but for very different reasons. So this is more about both teams trying to get back in the race, try to get into that mid-tier of the C division. We'll go to the breakdown. We'll start things off with the Storm Surge. Nick Roach expected to be in the net today, and he's been having some struggles going with a under 800 save percentage, but has a respectable 2.67 goal against average. Now, like I said, offense has been a little bit on the lower side. Mike Ellington, the only player with more than one goal, has 3 to his credit. But one of their problems has been with their penalty kill. They've been 4 for 7 on the kill, so they need to stay out of the box. For the Riptide, Wilson expects to be in the net and has been trying to play strong, but has been overwhelmed in a lot of these games. That was because they've injected a lot of new players onto this team, which I'll talk about in a moment. But importantly, Tanner Orr, no longer on the team, got promoted to B Division. So that's a key piece of their offense gone. But those 2 of the rookies that are on this team have made an impact. Caleb Toe Silva, 2 goals to his credit. And in the previous game, Eli Sorrell with 2 assists to his credit. But it's been more of a learning curve as they try to figure out the chemistry of this new setup. So with that being said, the ball drop is next.
Officials for this game, Keith LeGros, Ryan Reich, and Lyle Blue. For this matchup between the Storm Surge and the Raleigh Riptide. Chris Barrow will face off with Cole Silva, and we are underway in the C Division. Push forward for Ellington, will go clear all the way into the Riptide zone. Work back out through neutral. All the way back down into the corner. Thrown out in front, and it's blocked away. Nace tries to put a shot on net. A rebound, and it goes just wide. Sorrell had an opportunity at a rebound. Cleared out, attempt to clear it, gets all the way past. Corey Nace goes back to retrieve for the Riptide. 2 men on for the Storm Surge. Able to clear out. Greg Camp keeps the zone for the Storm Surge and clears it into the far corner. Delayed offsides. Storm Surge gets back on. Over to Sorrell. Sorrell pushes through the neutral zone. Back to Camp, who will clear it back out. Over to Chris Barrow. Chris Barrow enters the zone with speed. Looking for a man. Tries to find Jason Kaufman, and it's intercepted. And back the other way. A shot for the for the Riptide, and a save made by Nick Roach for his first save of the game. So a fast and furious start to this one. Both teams will change. And it's the Riptide with an offensive zone draw. Face-off goes into the corner. Behind the net to Camp. Camp Works up to Kaufman. Kaufman. Neutral zone, throws it across. Looking for Nolan Magnini. Excuse me. That gets back behind the net and thrown back to Jason Kaufman. Kaufman works through a defender. That's Rush Schroeder for the Raleigh Riptide. Fought on along the half boards. Thrown back up and all the way back down. It's going to be icing on the Riptide.
Nolan.
I heard you. I should pass you.
You're good.
Pass you. I heard you. It's too delayed. Jasper.
Gotcha. One off to the side and cleared out by the Riptide all the way back down, and it's a foot race. On in, a backhand for Miller, and a save made by Nick Roach, and it goes behind the net. Autumn Cowart clears back behind, throws all the way up, cut off by Cat Valley and thrown all the way back in. Storm Surge will regroup. Thrown back up. Ellington clears it all the way back in. He's flanked by Thomas Locke, but it's cleared back in. Mike Ocasio for the Riptide, excuse me. Tries to clear it out, but it's cleared all the way back in. Behind the net. Storm Surge going to work. Tried to clear it out, unable. Thrown back through the middle. Kept in by Jeff Brown. Brown from the point. Takes a shot and it gets skipped wide. Goes into the corner for Mike Ellington. Tried to center out in front. And a shot from the point is blocked by multiple bodies. And the Riptide unable to clear out. Thrown all the way back in. Mike Ellington has the ball and has some time. Works against Ocasio. All the way around the net. Looking for a cutter and unable to find one. And the Riptide will retrieve. Cat Valley tries to clear, and it's intercepted. Back in, thrown in for a backside pass, and it's deflected away by the Riptide from the point. And that shot is blocked. Retrieved by Barrel, a shot and a save made by Daniel Wilson, his first of the game.
You got time. Good
Working from the half boards, tries to throw one on net. It goes off the side of the net. Riptide trying to clear, they finally do. Back to Greg Camp for the Storm Surge. Camp throws it across, that's Jeff Brown, and clears up to Jasper Brown. Back into the corner. Up to the sideboards and a shot from Kaufman, and that one was sicked away by Daniel Wilson. Riptide trying to possess in their own zone. Daniel Decker throws it up for Chris Brown, that's intercepted. A shot, and that's deflected away by Daniel Wilson. Good shift here for Jasper Brown. Thrown all the way back in, and it'll roll in on Nick Roach, who'll let it play. And thrown back through, that's Tim Tremper for the Storm Surge. Chris Barrel tries to get it deep, unable. It's thrown back to Tremper. Tries to find Barrel, intercepted. Neutral zone play, it's cleared in by the Storm Surge all the way back behind the Riptide net. Tried to clear out. Autumn Cowart for the Storm Surge keeps it in. It's Jason Kaufman along the half boards. His shot and a blocker save made by Daniel Wilson. A big save early on here. Kaufman trying to work towards the middle. A wrist shot and it gets blocked out in front. And now carried out by Tol Silva. That's blocked away and they maintain the zone. Magnini tries to throw across to nobody. It's cleared back out by Raph Moreno. All the way back down by to Autumn Cowart. Cowart tries to find Magnini. It's intercepted by Robert Lacasse and thrown all the way back in. Cowart has to retreat and retrieve. Is able to get it. But possession is taken away by the Riptide. It comes out in front to Sorrell and he's unable to get a shot on net. And the Storm Surge able to clear the zone just for a minute, but it's thrown back in. Tremper to retrieve for the Storm Surge. And an offside is called there as that puck came all the way out of the zone. And the Riptide were unable to tag up. It'll be a neutral zone draw. Fast-paced first period. We are already more than 6 minutes into this first period and a scoreless draw between these two C Division teams. Excuse me. Face-off one-backs by Alex Gardner of the Storm Surge. Fighting for it is Sorrell. Unable. It's cleared back in to the Riptide zone. Transition game thrown back in to the Storm Surge zone. Jeff Brown clears it out. Back to Moreno. Back to Brown, and he'll clear it all the way down. And no icing called there. So the Riptide will have to work from their own end there and get it all the way out. Moreno working against Jasper Brown. Brown trying to pickpocket. Now 2 men on for the Storm Surge. Gardner and Brown trying to find that ball. And eventually it's come up with by the Storm Surge. A shot and a save, a rebound, and it's saved by Daniel Wilson. Throws back out in front, and unable to capitalize on that opportunity are the Storm Surge, and it's cleared back behind the net. Russ Schroeder wraps it around the boards all the way down, and that will be an icing on the Riptide with 2:42 remaining here in the first period.
Come on, we're playing in their zone. Let's get some in here.
Your first name's Thomas, right?
Yeah. Keep it up, boys.
So an ozone draw here for the Storm Surge. Chris Barrell taking that face off. He wins it clean. A wrist shot by Jasper Brown and a stick save made by Daniel Wilson. It's back out into the slot, fighting for it. Eli Sorrell for the Riptide, able to get possession. A wrist shot, and it goes wide of Nick Roach on the blocker side.
You got plenty of space here, bud.
Now Jason Kaufman leaving the zone. He's got plenty of space. Gets it around Cat Valley. Goes into the corner. Able to work off a defender. A shot, and they score! Jason Kaufman hits the goal, and the Storm Surge, with 2:10 remaining, have a 1-0 lead. A one-on-one play from Jason Kaufman gives the Storm Surge the lead late here in the first period. Toll Silva off the opening, or off the center ice draw, excuse me. Tries to filter it deep, but it's intercepted. Nolan Magnini chips it in. Possession to the Riptide, and rolls in on Daniel Wilson, and he's forced to cover. Stop now.
Yeah.
So Magnini to draw with Toll Silva. One back by Toll Silva, but the Storm Surge get possession in their own zone. A shot from Greg Camp, a rebound, they score! Thomas Locke gets the rebound opportunity, and just like that, it's a 2-goal lead for the Storm Surge. From that center ice draw after they scored their first, it was all hard work for the Storm Surge. They pushed the Riptide backwards and eventually make them break for a 2-goal lead, and a great rebound opportunity there for Locke, and he's able to capitalize. We're 2-0 here in the first period. Back to Jeff Brown. It's cleared all the way into the Storm Surge zone. Tried to chip it up the boards, is intercepted, and a shot on net is saved by Nick Roach off the shot from Mike Miller. Chipped out from behind the net by the Storm Surge.
Yeah, there we go.
Almost intercepted. It's cleared all the way back in by the Riptide, and Nick Roach will be content to cover. It'll be an ozone draw for the Riptide with 1:18 to go here in the first. Gardner to face off with Lacasse here in the offensive zone. And it's one back by Gardner. Attempts to chip it up to Kaufman. Triple team there. Riptide working to retrieve. 4 people in the scrum right now. Seeing where it pops out. Pops back out to the point over to Corey Nace. And he clears it into the opposite corner. Caitlin Clooney pursues for the Riptide. Chipped back out. Gardner has it for the Storm Surge, and he's on a breakaway. And Gardner is stopped by Daniel Wilson. A huge save to keep this a 2-goal game here in the first. Thrown back out in front. A shot is blocked. Great play there. Kept in by Kaufman. Kaufman inside the circle. Works to find a shot. His shot's blocked off. Riptide, a shot, and it goes just wide off the stick of Jasper Brown. He's had multiple opportunities here in this first period. Thrown back out in front. Gardner can't find a connection on that. Back to Cowart. Cowart working one-on-one with Lacasse. Lacasse clears it back out. Up to Clooney. Clooney clears it all the way in on Nicholas Roach, who will bat it back out. And it's a fly pass for Jasper Brown. Jasper Brown a shot and a blocker save off the netting and comes back out in front. 2 and 1 seconds. And that is period number 1. And the Storm Surge, a high-intensity period, find themselves up 2-0 after period number 1. As we get set for the second period here, the Storm Surge have a 2-goal lead. On goals by Thomas Locke and Jason Kaufman. Shots on goal in that period, 12-5 favoring the Storm Surge as we get underway here in the second period. It's one back by the Storm Surge and cleared all the way in by Mike Ellington. Ellington all the way back to Raph Moreno. Intercepted, and Chris Barrow unable to get a shot off on net. Moreno comes in for the block. Back to Greg Camp. Greg Camp. Half boards to Tremper. Tim Tremper tries to throw it in. Oh, and my goodness. Oh, and it's still loose. Out in front of the net, Mike Ellington had a golden opportunity there to whack one home. Thrown back in front of the slot. Cleared away by Ocasio for the Riptide. And now pushed ahead. Kept in by the Storm Surge and put back deep. Ocasio has to retreat and retrieve for the Riptide. That one goes out of the zone. So the Storm Surge have to gain the line here. Get back on sides. Back from Moreno. Moreno tries to clear it up. That's intercepted by Locke. Stays in the zone. A shot from Mike Ellington. It gets blocked and goes into the corner. They'll get a change here. Barrel working one-on-one with Ocasio. Moreno comes over to defend. And the Storm Surge able to keep it in. They spent the entire period so far in this end. Chipped back into the zone by Greg Camp. He's been a stalwart. It's an interception out to Jasper Brown, and he misses the net. On a low shot on Daniel Wilson, goes just wide on the blocker side. Another turnover. A shot goes high over Daniel Wilson. Riptide struggling to get it out of their own zone so far in this second period. Riptide chip it up to Chris Brown. It's intercepted. Magnini tries to go one-on-one with Morales. And it's turned over and thrown back behind the net. Morales looking for an outlet. Holds the ball. He's double teamed. Intercepted by Nolan Magnini. His shot is blocked out in front. A shot gets on Daniel Wilson. And he's able to make the save and cover. Just over 2 minutes into this second period. And I've been saying Moreno. I've been meaning Morales. I apologize. Well, Raph Morales had a excellent shift, keeping the pressure at bay for the Riptide in the first 2 minutes of that second period. Magnini to draw. He's able to win it back. Jasper Brown feeds it over to Jeff Brown. He throws it into the corner, one-on-one play here with Russ Schroeder and Jason Kaufman. Schroeder wins that battle, but unable to clear it out and keeps it deep for the Storm Surge. Back to retrieve is Cat Valley. Throws it across to Russ Schroeder. Schroeder throws it up, it's intercepted. Play there, a shot, it's blocked out in front. Riptide had 3 guys in front of the net there. And the Riptide are able to come up with this, trying to get it out of the zone for the first time so far this period, and finally able to just get it past center ice, but it's cleared all the way back down into the Riptide zone. Storm Surge applying a lot of pressure so far this period. They had these shots edge in the first period, 12-5, and they're piggybacking off of that so far. Just continuing to apply the pressure as this goes all the way into the Storm Surge zone. Eli Sorrell for the Riptide tries a one-on-one play against Tim Tremper, and Tremper able to knock him off the ball and clear it all the way back out. Neutral zone play. Riptide need to get back on sides. It's chipped all the way back in. Deep for the Storm Surge. Going to retrieve is Alex Gardner. Gardner unable to get it away from Russ Schroeder. And potentially a breakaway, and unable to get the puck on net is Cole Silva. And cleared all the way back down by the Storm Surge. It's going to be icing with 6:19 to play in the second period. Storm Surge still with a 2-0 lead. Face off, one out to the side. Cleared back in by the Riptide. Back to play it is Autumn Cowart. She'll wrap it around. Sorrell pitches in for the Riptide. We're going to make a play, throws it out in front. Excuse me, that's not Sorrell, but it bounces out in front of Nick Roach. He's able to keep it out of the net and clear it all the way back down for an icing on the Storm Surge. That was Dane Nedro for the Riptide there with a great opportunity out in the low slot. I'm not sure whether it got all the way to Nick Roach, but it was deflected into the corner no matter. And
Come on, win this, boys.
the Riptide have an offensive zone draw.
Hey, control, let's go.
Face off, one back by the Storm Surge. Cowart tries to clear it out. Gets back in. And off the foot of the defender, Tremper. Still not out. And now out. Gardner racing one-on-one with Corey Nace into the far corner. It's chipped back out. Up to Mike Miller. Miller unable to get it all the way down. Intercepted and thrown back in by Jeff Brown. Riptide having a hard time playing a 200-foot game today. It's been a lot of frustration trying to get out of their own zone. Ellington behind the Riptide net, throws it back to Chris Barrell, tries to center, and it comes all the way out to Jeff Brown, who's just clearing it back in. Back behind the net, it's Ellington. Ellington looking for a man out in front, throws it back behind to Barrell. Barrell working one-on-one with Nace. Hack and whack time. It gets on to Daniel Wilson, a rebound and another save. 2 great saves by Daniel Wilson. The rebound batted out of the air by Jasper Brown, who's had an awesome game so far, just about halfway through. Back to Jeff Brown. Jeff Brown throws it up to Camp. Camp throws it into the Riptide zone. It gets past Daniel Decker, who has to go back and retrieve, and tries to exit the zone, trying to find Nedro. And Jeff Brown works it off and throws it back in. Greg Camp, a good defensive play there. Transition game for the Storm Surge. Enters the zone, working one-on-one there. Chris Barrell. Barrell throws it back up to Camp, who deflects it into the slot. And Kaufman looking A shot and a save made by Daniel Wilson, and he will cover. So 4:13 to go here in the second period, and it remains a 2-0 lead for the Storm Surge. These two teams come into today at the bottom of the standings, 3rd and 4th place. But the C division is extremely tight. You can go on a run, win a few games, and find yourself at the top of the table before you know it. Face-off won by the Storm Surge. Jasper Brown unable to get a shot off. Throws back in. Good play by Cowart to hold the zone. Comes back out to Caitlin Clooney. She tries to clear. That's intercepted. Thrown all the way back in. Daniel Wilson sticks it aside. Behind the back, throws it out in front for a one-timer. Off the stick of Jasper Brown, and that was pretty close, but unable to get on Daniel Wilson. One-on-one play. Just able to get out of the zone, but Cowart clears it all the way back in. Ocasio has to retrieve for the Riptide. Kaufman intercepts a wrist shot, and that's whiffed on by Jasper Brown. He goes into the corner to retrieve, throws it back out through the slot. Kaufman, a pass over. Doberstein. Doberstein a shot, and it gets deflected wide, and Daniel Wilson will come out and cover. Give his guys a chance to change with 3:14 to go here in the second period. Face off, one back by the Riptide. Cat Valley working to clear for the Riptide. Gets it up to Chris Brown. And is kept in at the line by Jeff Brown. In the corner, Thomas Locke. Unable to retrieve. Russ Schroeder clears it all the way out, just gets out. And so the Storm Surge will have to tag up before they can enter the zone. They do just in time. Jeff Brown, a wrist shot, and it goes just wide on the short side of Daniel Wilson. Magmini, unable to retrieve. Here comes Caleb Toll Silva, a rising young star for the Riptide. He gets knocked off the ball, and here comes Jeff Brown. Throws it across into the slot, and it's sticked away by Daniel Wilson. It goes into the corner. Attempting to find Alex Gardner. Gardner has the ball, chips it back in. It's Thomas Locke for the Storm Surge. Knocked off by Schroeder. Schroeder will wrap it all the way around the far boards, but it doesn't get out. It's back to the point, and Greg Camp. Camp, a slap shot, and that goes just wide. Gardner looking for a man. He's casual. Hits it up into the netting off a deflection from the stick of Cat Valley, and play will be blown dead. 2:02 remaining here in the second period. And the Storm Surge still hold on to a 2-0 lead. Jason Kaufman and Thomas Locke, the goal scorers for the Storm Surge. And they have played the majority of this game in the offensive zone. Chipped out, back into the Storm Surge zone. Autumn Cowart worked one-on-one with Eli Sorrell, and it's cleared all the way back down for an icing. So the Riptide have got to get something going here on offense. They've really struggled to put any pressure on Nick Roach and that Storm Surge defense. And it's been a clinic of holding the ball at the line and maintaining the offensive zone so far for the Storm Surge. Gardner will face off with Lacasse. Lacasse pushes it forward, but it's able to be possessed by the Storm Surge, wrapped around by Greg Camp, and it comes up to Jasper Brown. He works down the right side. Shot, and it goes just wide of Daniel Wilson. Alex Gardner will retrieve. He works 1-on-2. Eventually loses it, but it's chipped back in by Greg Camp. Thrown back in by Tim Tremper. Or excuse me, that's Doberstein for the Storm Surge. Clears back in. Half boards. Alex Gardner tries to find a man out in front. That's intercepted by the Riptide. Kept in by Camp, but the Riptide eventually possess. And it's Mark Roberts. Mark Roberts will carry on his own. Tries to make the pass over to Sorrell. And Sorrell has got intercepted by Jasper Brown. He goes down, no penalty. Looks like he just stepped on the stick there. Long pass, tried for the stretch pass to Robert Lacasse, who was wide open going down the right side, but just out of the reach, and it'll be icing on the Riptide. 42.3 to go here in the second period. Face off, one back by the Storm Surge, but it's pushed into the slot, and a chip shot off the stick of Chris Barrel is gloved down by Wilson, and we will have another face off. Face-off 1-0, and they're going to call a misfire on that face-off after it was a clean win by Chris Barrel. So they'll try again. This time the face-off won back by the Riptide. And Daniel Decker looking for a stretch pass to Mike Miller, who clears it all the way back behind the net of the Storm Surge. 25 seconds to go. Chips it out, and unable to find a man there, Decker keeps it in for the Riptide. Attempted to throw it out in front into the slot, and nobody there. It comes back out to Tremper. Excuse me. Yes, Tremper. And back into the Riptide zone. 5 seconds to go. Clears all the way down, and that will be an icing with 2.3 seconds to go here in the second.
Dogs, you want me to take the shot? Okay, hey, Dogs. Let me take a shot.
2 seconds, push on goal.
So not much time here for the Storm Surge. They're going to try and get a quick shot off here. You got Kaufman and Greg Camp at the point trying to get a shot off. One back and unable to find a stick, and that will do it for the second period. So after 2, no score in the second, but the Storm Surge cling on to a 2-0 lead after 2. Let's take a look at scores from around the league. As we are set to begin the third period of this C Division matchup between the Storm Surge and the Riptide. Storm Surge with a 2-0 lead after 2. Let's see if they can add on to it, or will the Riptide find some offensive presence here in this third period. It's been a struggle to play in their offensive end. And all the credit to the Storm Surge, their defense has been holding well at the line. But the Riptide need to find something, and find something quickly. They want to get back into this game with a 2-goal deficit with less than 10 minutes to go. Cleared up and all the way back down. That'll be an icing on the Riptide. And the Storm Surge will get an offensive zone draw right off the bat. 21 seconds in to this third period.
Yeah, so don't be afraid.
Face off. One back by Nolan Magnini. Greg Camp, a backhand on net, goes just wide. Morales throws it around to Ocasio for the Riptide. It's turned over. They got in front, a shot by Jasper Brown, and that goes off the side of the net and back behind. Unable to clear out as the Riptide. Shot Jeff Brown, a tip on net. Oh, and it's loose, and they score! Brown, or excuse me, looks like Nolan Magnini on that goal, but the hard work pays off. Daniel Wilson comes it between his legs, and the Storm Surge have a 3-goal lead in the third period. Face off, one back by the Riptide. Tries to push it forward. It comes back to Tim Tremper. Tremper to Kaufman. Magnini tries to clear it down. It comes to the stick of Jason Kaufman. Chipped ahead by Nolan Magnini. It'll roll in on Daniel Wilson, and he'll take the cover.
Easy, Nolan. Easy. There we go. Easy, bud.
So a 3-goal lead for the Storm Surge. And they've got to feel good about their chances here. Defensive responsibility will be the key to closing out this game. One back by the Riptide. They tried to clear it out and chip back in. It's a high stick on Cat Valley, and the Riptide will not help their cause. They'll take a penalty here. A minute and 15 into the third period, down 3. So the Storm Surge will go to their first power play here. And it'll be Kaufman, Gardner, Locke, Tremper, and Autumn Cowart for the Storm Surge. Trying to put this game out of reach here in the third period. Dumped all the way back in by Russ Schroeder, the defensive stalwart for the Riptide. Alex Gardner tries to exit the zone with speed. That gets sent back to Autumn Cowart. Autumn Cowart will gain the line. Just in front of the blue line, she'll clear it all the way back in. That's tipped down by Russ Schroeder, and he'll slap shot that all the way back in to the Storm Surge zone. 55 remaining on the penalty to Cat Valley on the high stick. Back behind the net. Thrown up to Jason Kaufman. Kaufman has time and space. Kaufman tries to get around Daniel Decker. He gets it into the far corner. Gardner drops it off up top for Greg Camp. Greg Camp, a shot through a screen, and that goes just wide on the far side of Daniel Wilson. Shot blocked out in front there from Thomas Locke. But the Storm Surge maintained possession. Camp, half boards, back up top to Gardner. Gardner, and can't get it deep, and it's cleared out by Chris Brown. Riptide will go for a change. Storm Surge will as well. Camp back to retrieve. We're at even strength. So a huge kill for the Riptide if they want to have any chance of getting back into this game. Doberstein tries to throw it out in front and knocked away by Mike Ocasio for the Riptide. One-on-one, Chris Barrell and Robert Lacasse. Lacasse eventually able to get that ball out of the zone and throw it all the way back in. Camp will retrieve. Tosches pursues for the Riptide. Thrown far side by Greg Camp. Knocked back into the zone, it's Chris Barrell. Chris Barrell throws it all the way back into the Riptide zone. Defensive play, just chipped out. Possession of the Storm Surge. Tries to find Jasper Brown. That's intercepted. Ocasio, and now he's intercepted. Here comes Jeff Brown on a 2-on-1. His shot, and that gets blocked. A great play by Corey Nace. Storm Surge keep it in. It gets chipped up and finally out of the zone. Toshius chips it by Tremper, and now he has possession. A shot, and it goes just wide. Behind the net. It comes out to Roach, and he will cover. So a good play by Toshius to gain the zone. But still no real threatening presence in front of Nick Roach. He hasn't been tested much today. He stood tall on what he's seen. But the Storm Surge defense doing the job so far. Doing a great job of keeping everything to the outside and allowing Nick Roach to see everything that's coming his way. So a face-off here with Barrel and Toll Silva. Barrel wins it back for the Storm Surge. Cowart tries to clear it out of the zone. It gets blocked. And now it's cleared all the way back down, and that'll be an icing on the Storm Surge. Almost halfway through this third period. Storm Surge has added on to their lead. They lead 3-0 now here in the third period. On a goal by Nolan Magnini. And Storm Surge wins yet another face-off. Throws it up through the slot. It's kept in at the line by Russ Schroeder. Still unable to get a shot off. Works over. Mark Roberts throws it back up. It's intercepted. And Jasper Brown gets it past Russ Schroeder. He'll gain the zone for the Storm Surge. Working along the goal line. Shot at a sharp angle. And that goes wide. Misses the net of Daniel Wilson. Intercepted. Here comes Ellington. Ellington, that shot gets blocked out in front by Schroeder. And it gets back out to the line and all the way out. Storm Surge has to regroup. Sorrell on the pursuit for the Riptide. He gets stood up. Here comes Toll Silva. Silva tries to take him one-on-one, and he is unable to. He gets stood up, and he is down in a shot. Sorrell had a point-blank shot on Nick Roach, and he's unable to capitalize. A big save there by Nick Roach to keep the shutout intact. And that'll be icing on the Storm Surge as they avoid danger there. A big save by Nick Roach, his best of the game so far. But Toll Silva ran into a brick wall right there. He got stood up with authority. The Storm Surge defense doing the job so far. One back. Lacasse hounds the ball. Oh, it comes out in front, and it goes off the pad of Nick Roach, but no shot after that. Cleared out. Oh, Jason Kaufman tried to spring a breakaway for Thomas Locke, and it was blocked away. At the line, Storm Surge gains the zone, but it's chipped back out. Back out to Greg Camp. Camp. It finds Jason Kaufman. And neutral zone play here. It bounces to Mike Miller. But Doberstein able to deflect it away and clear it all the way back into the Riptide zone. 4 minutes to go here. Oh, it deflects off. It comes back out in front. And a stick save made by Daniel Wilson off the stick of Nolan Magnini. He was looking for his second. Kaufman. It gets all the way to Greg Camp. Greg Camp's shot goes wide on the glove side of Wilson. Kaufman keeps it in. Throws it across to Greg Camp. Camp, that shot gets blocked off the shin pads. And working Benjamin Arcuri was working to find a one-on-one opportunity. Greg Camp was able to fend it off and send it all the way back into the Riptide zone. So the Riptide have to regroup. Nace clears it all the way back in. Short change for the Storm Surge. Here comes Mike Miller. Miller throws it out in front. Gets to the point, and it's intercepted by Jasper Brown. Jasper Brown in on a breakaway. His shot, a stick save made by Daniel Wilson, and it clears all the way back behind the net. Jasper Brown tries to find a sharp angle. No, and it clears off. Jason Kaufman had a shot. And that goes off the foot of Nace and wide. Kaufman clears it back behind the net. Jasper Brown gets intercepted by Daniel Decker. Decker finds the outlet pass. Here comes Mike Miller. Mike Miller works behind the circles. Nobody there to help him. He just chips it out through, and the Storm Surge will retrieve. Out of the zone. 2 guys for the Riptide on 1 Storm Surge. It comes up to the Riptide, Tol Silva, and he gets intercepted and carried out by Gardner. This comes far side to Mike Ellington. Ellington, a shot on net and a save made by Wilson. 2 minutes to go. The surge pressure has been relentless. They refuse to spend time in their own zone. Their exits have been surgical. A shot by Alex Gardner that gets tipped away and thrown to the far boards. Here comes Ellington. Ellington has it for the Storm Surge. That gets blocked by Tol Silva. That comes back to Russ Schroeder. Schroeder tries an outlet pass. It comes to Autumn Cowart. Cowart to Mike Ellington and cleared all the way back in. 1:35 to go. Storm Surge has no problem doing this for the rest of the game. They hold the 3-goal lead. Outlet pass to Tol Silva, intercepted by Autumn Cowart. And working to Morales. And Morales and Cowart get into it. No penalty called. It goes back into the Storm Surge zone. It's cleared all the way back out. And yes, an icing is called with 1:08 to go. So the Storm Surge in good shape here, looking to wrap up a 3-0 win with 1:08 to go. And it's a big one to get back into the running for the top spot in the C division. Defense has been outstanding today. Barrel to face off with Tol Silva. And one back by Barrel. Tried to clear out. Doberstein, it's intercepted, thrown back on net, and it goes wide of Nick Roach in the corner. Doberstein tries to wrap it around the boards. It's intercepted. It comes back to him. And he's going to use his legs to exit the zone himself. Tries to find Mike Ellington just a little too far, but all the way back into the Storm Surge zone, that's not a problem. 40 seconds to go. Oh, and it comes out in front, they score! Chris Merrill takes advantage of a turnover. And the icing on the cake, Storm Surge leads 4-0. Well, the Storm Surge have done the hard work all game. Whether it's keeping the ball in at their offensive blue line or easy exits, deflecting the pressure away from their goalie. They've done a wonderful job of playing forward hockey, and they're rewarded with a 4-goal lead here, very late here in the 3rd period, as Lacasse goes behind the net. Riptide trying to break the shutout for Nick Roach. 1-on-1 with Greg Camp. Lacasse has possession. 2 guys for each team fighting for the ball right along the goal line in the corner. It comes out to Ocasio for the Riptide. Ocasio tries to center, gets deflected out in front, and Mike Wells had a chance for the Riptide. And that gets deflected away. A good save by Nick Roach. It gets cleared all the way in, and they will call the game. With an emphatic 4-0 win over the Riptide. And the Storm Surge get back into play in the C division. Just an excellent defensive effort. They did everything they needed to do, and the offense came through just enough. The Storm Surge get a big win in the C division. We'll be back with a wrap-up right after this.
The final shot totals in this game was 26-8 in favor of the Storm Surge. Riptide did not get a shot in the second period, and this is really going back to the inexperience with all the new players coming in. They said beforehand that they are still working on getting that chemistry together, but for the Storm Surge, a quality win for them, getting 4 goals, all of them from different players. 3 out of 4 of those goals came off of a deflection or a weird play, and this just adds to the unluckiness of the Riptide. So they still got plenty of time to turn things around as they will try to get back on the win column. So that'll do it for us this week. This is Danny Wilson from SoFi. We'll see you next time.